soldier shouted. The old woman hauled the trolley over a pile of bricks. A piece of wall collapsed behind her. The last brick hit something far below, which went boink. The soldier and the policeman froze in mid-run. The moon went behind a cloud again. In the darkness, there was a ticking sound. It was far off and a bit muffled, but in that pool of silence both men heard it all the way up their spines. The policeman's foot, which had been in the air, came down slowly. "How long have you got? If it starts to tick," he whispered. There was no one there. The soldier was accelerating away. The policeman ran after him and was halfway up the ruins of Paradise Street before the world behind him suddenly became full of excitement. It was 9 o'clock in the evening in Blackbury High Street. In the window of the electrical shop, 9 TVs projected their flickering screens at the empty air. A newspaper blew along the deserted pavement until it wrapped around the stalks in the ornamental flower bed. The wind caught an empty lager tin and bowled it across the pavement until it hit a drain. Something landed in an alleyway and groaned.
"Tick, tick, tick, tickety-boo, out! National Health Service!"
The interesting thing about worrying about things, thought Johnny Maxwell, was the way there was always something new to worry about. His friend Kirsty said it was because he was a natural worrier, but that was because she didn't worry about anything. She got angry instead and did things about whatever it was. Johnny just worried. And all his school teachers seemed to be worrying about him now as well, sending notes home and getting him to see a specialist. Although the specialist wasn't too bad, and at least it got him out of maths. One of the notes had said he was disturbed. Well, who wasn't disturbed? He hadn't shown it to his mum. Things were bad enough as it was, what with the business going down the drain and Dad pushing off, and Mum just sitting around smoking all the time and everything. "You getting on all right at your granddad's?" said Yoles. It's not too bad. Grandad does the housework most of the time, anyway. He's good at fried bread, and surprise, surprise." "What's that?" "You know that stall on the market that sells tins that have got the labels off?" "Yeah? Well, he buys loads of those, and you've got to eat them once they're opened." "Yuck." "Oh, pineapple and meatballs isn't too bad." They walked on through the evening street. The thing about all of us, Johnny thought, the sad thing is that we're not very good. Actually, that's not the worst part. The worst part is we're not even much good at being not much good. Take Yoles. When you looked at Yoles, you might think he had possibilities. He was black, technically, but he never said yo, and only said check it out in the supermarket, and the only person he ever called a mother was his mother. Sometimes he actually wore a tie. Train spotters were cooler than Yoles. Now, Big Mac was good. He was good at maths, sort of. It made the teachers wild. You could show Big Mac some sort of horrible equation, and he'd say, "X equals 2.75, and he'd be right. But he never knew why. "It's just what it is," he'd say. And that was no good. Big Mac was also a skinhead. Big Mac and Bazza and Skaz were the last 3 skinheads in Blackbury. At least the last 3 who weren't someone's dad. And he had love and hat on his knuckles, but only in biro because when he'd gone to get tattooed he fainted. As for Wobbler wasn't even a nerd. He wanted to be a nerd, but they wouldn't let him join. He had a nerd pride badge and he messed around with computers. What Wobbler wanted was to be a kid in milk bottle bottom glasses and a deformed anorak who could write amazing software and be a millionaire by the time he was 20. But he'd probably settle for just being someone whose computer didn't keep smelling of burning plastic every time he touched it. "It wasn't a bad film," he was saying. They'd been to Screen W at the Blackbury Odeon. They generally went to see any film that promised to have laser beams in it somewhere. "But you can't travel in time without messing things up," said Yoles. "That's the whole point," said Big Mac. "That's what you want to do. I wouldn't mind joining the police if they were time police. You'd go back and say, 'Hey, are you Adolf Hitler?' And when he said, 'Achtung, that's me, ja,' with the pump-action shotgun, end of problem." "Yes, but supposing you accidentally shot your own grandfather," said Yoles patiently. "I wouldn't. He doesn't look a bit like Adolf Hitler." "I didn't mean actually."